Okay.
The board works.
Okay. Going through a hole over there in that ambulance. So I'm glad we don't yet.
No.
I haven't looked at it. That's what I heard.
That's who I'm going with.
We don't need them.
I don't know. I Tony and Deere here. This will be the next one? Oh, okay.
Still rebooting.
I don't know. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How you on?
Oh, I'm here. I'm tired. I don't know what happened this afternoon. I got really tired. It could be. I wasn't even outside. I just got really tired, and I left and went over and met some friends and came back, and I'm like, oh, geez, I could take a nap. Not that I want to, but...
Well, if I sit down at home, that's what I do.
Now, my mom, but she's 91, she's learned to take a nap in the afternoon.
But if I'm...
For a little while. She doesn't really sleep, but she lays down and rests, and that makes her feel better.
I'm not doing something. I can go for 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's just read.
Yeah.
Like they do on Music on the River.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
That's what I was going to. I was on. What's CAC?
Oh, well,
What's Aaron up to?
he's on the council agenda
Good to see you,
for
buddy.
that child advocacy.
Oh, ready? See you.
Yeah. Hi, Aaron.
Sorry, I couldn't be here. They had a funeral there too.
Yours?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
I hope not. I'm upright. I'm upright.
I'm kidding.
Mo, are you ready?
They're repairing
No.
something. I don't know.
Technicality?
What are we doing?
It's 5:59 on my phone, so.
They've got 30 seconds.
So whose watch?
Did you tell him we don't do PowerPoints?
All right, we have it pulled up.
Okay, it's pulled up. See if we can bring it up on the monitor.
It's gonna be quick.
I don't know. You never
We
know.
good?
Some of it will be.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is Tremaine. Yeah, Mr. Tremaine. He's here.
Yeah, he had that last time.
He's not running the assistants right now. Yeah. No, we're gonna go ahead and probably just go on with the handouts. I think. Tried. All right, sir, thank you.
We've spent so much money on that system out there.
I kept telling him you need a toggle switch on and off.
And everybody will tell you that's not the way it works. I don't know.
It could be made.
But I know I've paid numerous bills to wiring and whatever to get that to work.
And nobody worked.
And it works a little bit and then it quits.
Hey, toggle switch on.
Sometimes it works when it's on, sometimes
ready?
it doesn't. Yes.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Call this Board of Works meeting order. Roll call, please.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Donnie Bryant.
Present.
Member Mario Todd.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Present.
Police Chief Gene Hunnefeld. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. EMS Director Bobby Mills. Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis.
Here.
Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes of previous meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Who seconded? Or who did what?
I'll second it.
Who made the motion then?
Mario.
Mario? Okay.
Got it?
Yeah. I got it.
Any committee reports? Hearing none, run into new business. No new business? Any old business?
Yes, I have some old business, Your Honor. We do have to reschedule the hearing that was set for the Doug Taylor termination hearing. After the executive session, Mr. Cook informed me that he is not available for the rescheduled day of the 24th. And I don't know whether Mr. Diltz has checked with Mr. Negengard or not, but we're looking at rescheduling either the 29th or the 31st, which would be next week, Monday or Wednesday. I don't think there are any city meetings at all So I needed to check with the board and see what their availability might be.
What's the board's pleasure?
I believe we were thinking of starting it at 4 o'clock.
We were.
July 26th?
She's talking
No, the
29th or the 31st.
Which would be the Monday or the Wednesday next week.
How's everybody's schedule?
29th, I'm good.
29? Donnie, what about you?
I'm good.
29th it is.
At 4 PM.
That is subject to, I am trying to, Mr. Dilt said either date would work for him. Obviously, he's gonna have to check with his witnesses and so on and so forth. But he also does have, I did also make Mr. Butler aware of the 2 dates and told him I would be checking with the board tonight. So hopefully the 29th will work and I will let the board know. Thank you.
Any more old business?
Mayor, I would like to bring up to try to get that work session scheduled. Me and Jackie talked the other day before work.
That was my fault. I'm sorry.
It's August 5th, okay, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, he said it was.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I'll be okay with all the board.
Yes.
It's a work session, right?
Yes, it is.
That'll be fine. Any more old business? I'll go back to committee reports since I skipped you. Fire Department Chief John Tremaine.
Everybody's got their June run totals for the fire department in front of them. I've got them broke down at the bottom. We had a total of 37 runs. I believe last year I brought it up about fire hydrants. And, people planting around them and stuff. I've noticed that people that are in need of having clearance around them. So I think I'm gonna go out and take a look. And, I want to try to make a template that, because I think there's a certain distance around them that we can maintain. I noticed there's one on the corner down here. I think they're planted flowers or something that blocks the hydrant quite a bit. So I need to get those cleared up.
I think there is an ordinance about the only things around it. Is there distance, I think. But to find out.
Yeah, there's a certain requirement there.
Well, and if not, if there's nothing in the ordinances, but we could actually put on, probably amend it to your inspection ordinance or
Well,
whatever.
there's something in the fire code. I was looking today at the ordinance you just can't tamper with, but in the fire code, I believe they refer to.
Well, they'll just have dead flowers if they have to.
We've got one that I dread going to address, but I'll have to do it. That's all I have.
Our police department, Gene Hanfield, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of pieces of information for the board. I had the honor Sunday to represent the police department at Lawrenceburg American Legion. We have a program that is called the Honor and Remember flag. That's a new flag, and I believe there's been state legislation to accept that flag. And what they do is they honor military that we have lost. They present the flag to the families, so I got to be their senator to represent the police department. That was the first that this American Legion attempted, and it went very well. Like I said, very honored to be there. Today I was invited to an open house at the Children's Advocacy Center because of all the good work that they've been doing for the community. I know Lawrenceburg's been a big part of that. So that was also a good occasion today. And lastly, we received a thank you letter from Pat Kreider in Main Street thanking the police department for our participation in their second annual Youth Fest. We thank Pat for always giving us the pat on the back. Nothing further to report.
Thank you, Chief. EMS Director, Bobby Mills.
Our run totals for June was 144.
Thank you. Review and discuss claims board approval.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion adjournment?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Utility board, 5 minutes.
Sounds like there's a bomb down here.
No.
What is that? I think it's a computer. I disarmed it.
Hey.
Good.
It was going right with that clock.
I don't like that ticket thing.
Chinese water test or something. I disarmed it.
How about you?
Vacation?
Huh? Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I almost think I'm back, so.
Take care of it.
Thank you.
You're not supposed to, are you?
Who do you have on the motion to adjourn? I didn't get either.
Oh. Bill, and Aaron.
Thanks.
That's okay, hon.
This is, utility council, whenever you're ready for those.
Who is? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I counted up today by the end of the year, she'll have 9 years. You have to be 10 to be vested.
10 and 59.
They came in '05.
Before you got 59 years old, 10.
Oh, I don't know how old she is.
Pretty normal.
Maybe she's just gonna retire and take the money and whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Still looking into it.
Yeah, I took him golfing today. I won for him first time
Everybody
ever
ready?
winning.
Oh, is that right?
He loved that. Oh, he loved that.
Everybody ready?
Contract is back tonight.
Utility board meeting order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope. Present. Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Present.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
I'm here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis.
Here.
Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes, previous meeting.
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Committee reports.
Thank you, Your Honor. I only have one thing on the committee report to talk to the board about. As you all know, we've been renovating the pump house up on Reservoir Drive. And part of that was some electrical work that you all approved a contract for. Last Thursday, there was an incident up there with the contractor, which resulted in some damage to some equipment. I don't have the total repair bill yet, but what I'm going to do is write a letter to Mr. Over to put him on notice that he's going to be responsible for the replacement or repair of that equipment, and I'll put a copy of that letter in your next packet.
Mr. Who, please?
Ober, O-B-E-R.
Okay.
What was their problem, Mel? I mean,
The problem was that when they started taping up the connection to the motors, they left a little wire sticking out of the tape connection. It got against the case ground or the ground of the motor, caused some arcing, which the system is designed to take that to the earth, but they forgot to put the wire in that would connect it to the earth. So it went through our equipment.
anything, board? Thank you, Mel.
You're welcome.
New business. Mel, quotes on pump house, HAVC.
Yes, sir. This is that project also. In your packet, you have 3 quotes. for a 2-ton 13-SEER heat pump, air handler, ductwork thermostat, and the installation. You have 3 quotes there, one from Dillard for $54.19, one from Gehring for $56.37, and one from Seymour for $67.50. Looking at the quotes and reviewing them, what I would ask the board to do is allow me to call Mr. Dillard tomorrow and see if he has offered a 10-year guarantee on the parts like Mr. Gehring has. If he hasn't, or if he can't, I would recommend that we go by Gehring. There's a difference, go with Gehring. There's a difference of $218, but it's a 10-year warranty on the equipment. If you would allow me to do that, then
What's board approval?
I'd make a motion to allow Mr. Davis to contact Dillard to see if he offers a 10-year parts replacement warranty,
and if not, go
And if
ahead and
not,
award it to Gehring.
then to move forward with Gehring.
Thank you.
But could you ask for him, if he's not going to give that, well, whether he is or not, to get it in writing?
Yeah, absolutely.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mel. Old business?
Yes, sir. I passed out a letter, 2 letters actually, from, one from Mr. Rizzo and one from our water department, discussing a request from Mr. Rizzo's company for a payment of $53,625 to Proximo. And if you read the second letter, that's our explanation of, in our opinion, why that shouldn't be allowed. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Anything on the board?
Mel, was there any kind of agreement between you and, with Proximo? Was there any kind of written agreement?
No, ma'am, there wasn't. And the reason for that is that we, the city, has the right to move water lines or replace and enlarge water lines. Actually, this new water line is going to provide them with better service. We did that as a courtesy to tell them not to run the line out to 50, to bring it down to Main Street.
It was your abandonment, correct?
Pardon me?
It was your abandonment of the 12-inch?
That's what we're attempting.
I mean, that was the city's choice
That's the
to
whole
do the
project.
abandonment, right?
As you all might remember, we've been working on that project, that abandoning that water line, for probably the past 3+ years, because it's, some parts of that are, the newest part's 80 years old. Some other parts were roughly 100 years old. And it was a continual issue with braking in US 50, which, as you can imagine, causes a real traffic nightmare.
It's my understanding too, then, that they're asking, because there was some kind of backflow prevention device that they needed to install, that increased their costs?
Yes, and that is by statute, state statute. They have to install a backflow device. We were under the impression that the old line had one. We don't inspect those. But it didn't. So no matter where they go, they're going to have to put in a backflow device, which is roughly around $30,000 to $40,000. So no matter what they do, that's their responsibility.
That's all the questions I had.
Anything else on the board?
So Mel, in your opinion,
it's an incurred expense that they would have had to pay it anyway, and you
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
feel?
Yes, ma'am. If you read the breakdown on the second letter, the city has already expended $70,000 on that tap to their property. That's the tap from the water line across Main Street to their property line, and we installed a valve at their property line. So all they have to do is bring that water line to that valve and install the backflow device. And they would have to install the backflow device no matter which way they went. So,
Any more? Any more business, Miles? Any more business?
no, just like some guidance from the board on how to answer Mr. Rizzo's letter.
Anything else on the board?
I'd make a motion that we go with the utility director's recommendation.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Carry on. Review and discuss claims board approval.
I got one other thing under old business, Your Honor. I've got, this is something we've talked about a few times under old business. I've got about five calls today about utility employee, that lost his license, being driven around by yet someone else. Before, we discussed maybe having him walk around town, but, that didn't happen. He was driven around by his coworker. I guess that coworker went out of town, so they pulled a different employee from a different department to drive him around, and I guess that's done, and now they pulled one of the people from the payment desk up here and drove him around. And every resident of Lawrenceburg that I know, I've not talked to one that's happy with that situation. So, if there's no discussion, I would like to make a motion,
I'd like to some
Okay.
discussion. Has this employee had his court date hearing yet?
No, ma'am.
Mel, is it true that took office personnel to
Today
drive
we,
him around?
today we did, because biggest part of his work was on the hillside, on the hilltop, read in, read outs, and meter checks. So
When is his scheduled court hearing?
I think it's the end of this month, Mrs. Pope, but I don't know that for a fact. I can find out.
Aaron?
I was just waiting for, I would make a motion to suspend him without pay pending, the outcome of his, court, see if he gets his license back or not.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Yeah, just a second. Jane?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
I meant, Bill?
No.
Mike?
Yes.
JR?
No.
Yeses have it.
Yes, have it. Okay.
Could you read that motion? I couldn't hear. Could you read that motion back to me?
The motion is to suspend him without pay until they get the outcome of the court date. Is that right, Aaron? Okay,
Just see if he can get his license back or not.
yeah.
That's effective tomorrow?
Yes.
I will take care of that tomorrow.
Don't wanna
Okay,
get
any more
into
old
them.
business?
Can I add something to that? I just heard a comment from the board member here of this is bullshit. That's the words.
Okay.
Why should we pay somebody $20-some an hour to drive somebody around because they didn't have enough concern to have their job of driving when they got in trouble?
There's another guy that's off on paid leave too, so why should we pay him when he's been off?
Right now, I'm on the utility board
Well.
talking about this one.
Well, I'm talking about that one.
Any more?
That's all. Thank you.
Any more old business? Got a review, discuss claims, board approval? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Motion adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Just a second. Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Present.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
I'm here.
Police Chief Gene Hunnefeld. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. EMS Director Bobby Mills. Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis.
Here.
Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes, previous meeting.
I got a correction, page 1, Common Council. Down on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th paragraph. It says, at this time, Jane Pope said she had a correction. On the last page, it said, should say Mike Lawrence said wording, and the minute said working. I never made that comment, period. Mike, did you
Did
make
you?
that comment?
Somebody's made the comment.
The correction that I wanted made was, my comment was,
Yeah, I said that,
Okay.
because it was just a typo.
Okay, yeah, I fixed it.
so it should read at this time, Mike Lawrence said. But my correction to the motions that I made was the statement that board checks should not have been paid in 2012 if there wasn't a meeting, and that didn't apply to 2013 because as of 2013, we went to salary. That was my correction.
Okay.
And that wasn't even noted in the minutes.
Okay.
You have corrections? Okay. Need a motion?
With the corrections.
I make a motion to approve the minutes with corrections.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Committee reports. Streets, Island Curves, Aaron Cook.
No report, Mayor.
Finance, J.R. Holcraft.
Yeah, claims look good to me, and report's in your packet.
Fire Department, Bill Bruner.
No report, Mayor.
Police Chief, Gene Hunnefeld.
No further report, Mayor.
EMS Director, Bobby Mills.
And just let you know, Mayor, the countertop has approved here a couple months ago. Installed.
Yeah. Fire Chief John Tremaine.
The only thing I have is council members who have no report or if your copy should be monthly.
Building Department, Carl Fryman. Thank you. New business, Erica Buck, concert event.
Eric. Oh, Erica? Eric?
Eric.
It says Eric here. I don't know.
He's not here anyway.
No.
Richard Pettit, speeding concerns.
Richard's not here
Richard's
either.
not here.
Sir,
Sarah, no. Go ahead.
since you brought up on that one, on speeding concerns, if you don't mind, I had, there's a resident up on Tower that says that there's multiple cars, you know, running 50, 60 mile an hour up through there, and is asking if might be able to get it patrol more and possibly put the, speed sign up there. That'd be a possibility.
On Tower Road itself?
Yeah.
Sure.
Pepper Patrol.
Mr. Pettit months ago on his speeding concern, and how I usually try to handle that is I'll either post a memo or send out a department-wide email asking for extra patrol or to remove the speed trailers. We have recently gotten a new speed trailer, and it's a lot more helpful than the old speed trailer because it actually has a computer built in. It'll record the speed of every car that goes by. So we'll do that same thing there. I think I had one the other day from Randy, we're gonna try to get it there. We try to open the pool season with the speed trailer there. You can see where it does the thing, and it shows it out to the pedestrian crossing. You know, we'll move that, and I'll send out the same email to my supervisors, and then what they do is they track the officers to make sure that.
I think.
And then they'll report back, and then I'll report back to you.
All right, I'll let him know.
Thank you, Gene.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I think Mr. Pettit's concern was the stop sign to be placed on the corner of Water and Second Street. The stop bar got placed Friday, and the sign will probably go up tomorrow or yet this week.
Okay. I'll stop, see Dick. Sarah Bridgejoe and Aaron Nickengard, did I butcher that last name? Sorry about that.
Thank you. I want to thank the mayor and Lawrenceburg City Council for placing us on the agenda and for your support of the Children's Advocacy Center. I would point out that we have actually renamed the Children's Advocacy Center Region 15 Children's Advocacy Center. Some on our board thought it sounded like a sewer district, so we changed it to the Children's Advocacy Center of Southeastern Indiana. And that was also to reflect the original Region 15 was actually based on a division in the Division of Child Services about the counties that were served, and originally we were serving 6 counties, which was then known as Region 15. We now are serving 10 counties in southeastern Indiana and are very pleased with the success of the Children's Advocacy Center. I want to thank Chief Hunnefeld and for coming out to the Children's Advocacy Center, and Grant Hughes also came out and saw the center. We've now had and hit over 1,200 interviews at the Children's Advocacy Center. In fact, the caseload has increased. We did have a PowerPoint presentation, but technology doesn't always work, so let me give you some statistics. Also point out Congressman Luke Messer also came out today and took a tour of the facility. There has been a average of a 35% growth of interviews, and we're on track this year to have a 35% increase this year in the number of interviews. And part of that is because we're serving a larger region. Part of that is because law enforcement is more attuned to using the facility. To be clear, we don't just, our primary purpose at that facility is to interview victims or possible victims of child sexual abuse. We also interview witnesses to crimes, serious crimes such as murder, and even it hasn't quite evolved to domestic violence situations, but can be utilized to that. We also recently hired a second forensic interviewer because of the number of cases. It's very difficult to sustain a place when you have just one person, they go on vacation, and then you have to shut down. So we now have 2 interviewers, and that is in part to deal with the increasing caseload, which we expect in the future to even increase, partly due to the fact that as children become more aware of, sometimes children aren't even aware that they've been the victim of a child abuse because it's just so part of what they're growing up with. I know that might be hard to imagine, but I've seen it. And so sometimes we're working on instituting a safe touches, and there's been some of that at some levels, but not to the degree that we think needs to be implemented in the whole region, going through the schools and educating the kids. And whenever you do that, there's always a lot more complaints. We opened a satellite office in Jefferson County to better serve our region. Jennings County has been one of the primary counties that we serve outside of the original region. To be clear, we also serve Bartholomew, Jackson, Franklin County, and then the original 6 was Dearborn, Decatur, Jefferson, Ohio, Ripley, and Switzerland County. So we really are servicing the state, and we're the only regional child advocacy center in the entire state of Indiana. We also, just to give you a breakdown of how some of this, 900 and some of the interviews have been regarding sexual abuse, 200 and plus have been witnesses to violence, about 80 physical abuse, 17 neglect, 3 victims drug endangered, and 3 victims of homicide have all been interviewed at the facility. The average age of the victims is 4 to 5 years old. We've had about 500 in the range of 7 to 12 and about 500 in the range of 0 to 6. Now, I would also point out that one of the benefits to the Child Advocacy Center is the fact that we can get to the truth. It isn't just about, it's a tool for the truth. It's not just a tool to get a conviction on a child molester, although it can be used that when the truth is the person molested a child, but it's also a tool that gets us quickly at recognizing whether it's a false allegation. Because frequently, or it is not an uncommon occurrence to have children who have been coached in the context of a custody dispute or something to have said something that's not true. The ability of this interview, the way it's done, the technique, you can generally see if it's one that's been coached versus one that is legitimate, and that's just how a lot of it depends on how the child describes it, their facial expressions, their reactions, and you can see that all based on the center. The Lawrenceburg has, the city of Lawrenceburg has supported this organization, and we're asking for that to be an annual contribution. As I said, it's serving the region, and we think that is a good place to start when people say, hey, what is Lawrenceburg doing with this riverboat money? We think if you can point to something that's serving not just Dearborn County and not just Lawrenceburg, but the region, and it's also serving, I can't think of any greater calling than protecting children, and that's ultimately what we're doing. There is no question. One of the first cases we had that I remembered was one investigated by Detective Snyder with the Lawrenceburg Police Department, and that is a case I know prior to the Child Advocacy Center we would not have gotten a conviction on. It was one where we got to the facts right away, and when the police officer got there, the person ran. That was a situation in which and previously it might have had to been scheduled and the interview might not have been conducted for a week or at least a few days, and there would have been enough time for the perpetrator to get the person to change their story where we wouldn't get a disclosure or to leave. And that person's doing 40 or 50 years now in prison based upon that. So, and that's just one example where we've been able to get justice that I think we would not have been able to before. So it's money well spent, and it's money for, as I said, I can't believe a higher purpose, and we're asking for continued support of that. I'd also like to add, I don't get before the council much, I don't get to thank you guys, but Officer Jump, having him over at the crimes unit, and Officer Snyder, Detective Snyder as well, but Officer Jump just Friday of last week got 1.1 kilos of heroin on Interstate 74 through an interdiction stop. So, and that's the second kilo bust we've had this month of heroin on 74. It is really a pipeline bringing heroin to Cincinnati and then to our residents and our people here in Dearborn County, and putting your guys' resources to help stop that has gone a long way to making a dent in that problem. We just want to thank you for your support of that endeavor as well. Does anyone have any questions?
I would like to thank you, Mr. Dentengard. I think your special crimes unit does a good job. And the child advocacy program, I think, is wonderful because children need voices too. And the action that's taken immediately will allow for consequences if the facts are proven. So I think both programs are wonderful and outstanding, and I personally, believe that we should continue to fund those programs.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate that.
keep it going.
Thank you.
And thanks for all the good work.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I have one question. Does any of the other counties or anything contribute anything? Yes, yes, they do. Dearborn County contributes 25,000. Ohio County hasn't contributed anything annually, but they were one of the largest initial contributors. They contributed 50 at the initial, when we were going. The state actually contributed $500,000 to an initial Okra grant. The operating budget is about 300,000, and that's rounding up. And we get about 60 to 70 is through the Department of Child Services, and the rest is through donations either through Lawrenceburg or the other counties. And our fundraiser, Guns N' Roses, which some of you, I think, maybe came to, Lawrenceburg supported through sponsorship before, and we did not have one this year just because of the timing. It's a lot of work to try to schedule, so we missed a year. Also, I think some of the officers needed time to recover. It initially sounds good, police and firefighters, duking it out, but it's a lot of training, and I've seen, I thought maybe I could do that, and I saw that. There is no way, I'm ever I don't care who the person on the other side, there is no way I'm stepping into that ring. I mean, that's tough stuff, but we appreciate the efforts that those gentlemen have done towards raising money for it. And so we're going to shoot, I think, early next year, in March, we're going to have another
Aaron, you could
fundraiser
probably
like
sell a lot of tickets if you got in the ring.
I probably could. I probably could.
And
I don't know if I'd survive the beating,
There was a
though.
fireman that said, "What is the best thing about being able to punch a cop?"
Yeah, but they punch back.
True.
Thank you, Aaron, for all you do.
Thank you.
Tremendous job your staff does.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Can I just add that if
Sure.
any of you want to come see the CAC, just call me and we make it happen.
Thank you.
Mayor, there is one thing I'd like to address while we're talking about children. I've had several reports, and I should have brought it up earlier at the last Parks meeting, but I forgot, that there's children down to the Lawrenceburg skate park that are being bullied and being abused, and they're being influenced by older boys when it comes to smoking cigarettes, cussing, and there's actually people from the adult center that had to go out there and physically break up fights going on between older boys and younger children. So is what I'd like to see happen, if possible, if the police could go down there on a regular basis, drive by there, get out of their cars, walk through there, get to know these young people, get to know their names, and talk to them, and let your presence be known, and then hopefully some of this will stop.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up. A lot of times, just neglect or forget to tell us. And we have done that in the past, whether it be the skate park or the community center. We're made aware of an issue. We will do the get out and the walkthrough. So that, like you said, police officers can be on a more personal level with the young people in the situation. I know recently we have had a bullying case at the skate park, and I know the police, they have some suspects, and this case is continuing, it's still under investigation. But, that's probably not the only one, so you make a good point. So we can do that too, just like the issue of speeding when I told Mr. Lawrence. put out an email, make everybody aware, and then we'll also issue an order that we've been made aware of an issue at the skate park, and they will get out, and they will report back to their supervisor. So I thank you for bringing that up, because like I said, a lot of times people just don't think about calling, they'll think they're bothering us, and then you're not bothering. No problem at all.
Okay, thank you, and thanks to the Lawrenceburg Police Department.
Okay. I have a resolution for EMS here.
You want to do that under old or new or what, whatever?
We can do it under new.
Okay.
What this does, we had some trouble with the perf on EMS. They didn't recognize it. They sent Jackie this information today, was it?
Yeah, I got it today.
And so this might clear up the problem we've had with it.
What it is when PERF became full-time employees, just so everybody knows, the city did not do an agreement with PERF to pick up the EMTs, and we've sent in the money all these years, and they've taken the money all these years, but in the last month or so, they've not been real good about wanting to resolve this. They just wanted to kick them out of PERF and give us a credit of the money that we sent them, which I told them was not even an option.
Since 2005.
Yeah, since 2005. Yeah. So they've done a resolution that they think, and it looks to me like it will take care of the problem so that we don't have to run to Indianapolis and yell at them, and that this, will take care of the EMT employees.
By the way, one come in today, he's wanting to retire too.
Yeah. Whereas the city, I'm sorry.
Didn't we just do this for the fire department?
That was something else. That was pre-tax, post-tax.
Okay.
They were saying, and Bill, I didn't have a chance to call you. I just got this today. That was pre-tax, the difference between pre-tax and post-tax, Jane. This is about whether or not they accept the EMTs at all. Because they weren't wanting to.
Excuse me, Jackie.
Yeah.
Real quick, is this going to clear up the issue as far as the 19 months, or is that?
No, this is just keeping them in perf.
Okay.
And the other issue is, in order to buy time, you have to have 10 years of service in, and they won't have 10 years of service from when they, in '05, when they were picked up. It's only 9. So they couldn't buy that or, do that if they wanted to the best of my knowledge, anyway.
But they wouldn't have, that was, well, we'll discuss it, because that was time they were actually working.
Yeah, but, okay, yeah, we need to talk about it.
Okay.
But this keeps PERF from knocking him out altogether.
Okay.
Whereas the city of Lawrenceburg, by resolution dated July 1st, 1968, elected to participate in the Indiana Public Employees Retirement Fund, which is PERF, and that's when the city initially went in. Whereas Section 3 of the resolution included the position of civil city employees, whereas in a council meeting on April 14th, 2004, it was decided to include the city's EMT employees for participation in PERF to begin January the 1st, 2005. Whereas in 2005, the city's EMT employees were enrolled in and accepted by PERF, all parties, including PERF, have been performing under the rules and regulations controlling participation in PERF, including submitting required contributions since enrollment. Where it has been brought to the city's attention that PERF is unsure whether formal action was taken by the city to include the city's EMT employees in PERF, either as civil city employees in the original resolution or under a separate position designation during the April 14, 2004 council meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that the city affirms that formal action was taken by the council in April of 2004 to include the city's EMT employees to be effective on January the 1st, 2005, which would be adopted today. And it was 2005 is that's when, and Bill, prior to that, the city gave them the money for them to run. Their treasurer, whoever, did not pay into PERF for that year and 9 months. They don't know if they didn't know they were supposed to or what, but that's where part of the problem comes. The 2005 is when they actually became city employees, and we stopped giving them a check at the beginning of the year, and they turned in their bills, and we started writing them paychecks Does that make sense? Okay, just checking. Anybody got any questions?
I believe you're correct on the statement you just made. That's when their perf would officially started, is when they became city employees in 2005.
Well, they probably, Jane, could have paid in before that because the city was actually funding them.
But they were not city employees, though.
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to make this all work so we don't have to go to Indianapolis and kill perf. Or blow up their building, because I've thought about that too.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Okay. I need you to sign both copies, please, for me. Thank you, everyone. Makes my life easier.
Okay.
Bobby, I'll get you a copy of this too, okay?
Going to old business.
I have two real quick things under there, if you don't mind, Mayor. Main Street approached me to see if they could get approval to use the two parking lots, city parking lots at the corners of Short and High, and the city building a parking lot for their annual Main Street yard sale. It's on July 27th from 8 to 2.
What's the board's pleasure?
I just know as far as, I mean, they're full with the event center workers. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how that will work. I mean, they might have to post something or put some barriers up. That's all I'm saying.
What's the
Which
20?
way
That's a
parking?
Saturday, it might not be that busy.
Oh, you're
It's a
right.
Saturday,
I'm sorry.
probably,
That's a
huh?
Saturday. I'm sorry. I thought it was during the week.
And who was that for, Aaron?
Main Street yard sale,
July
Yeah.
27th.
yeah, 8 to 2.
What's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to allow them to use the three parking lots.
I'll second.
All in favor?
They usually do use them, don't they, Aaron?
Yeah, I
Aren't
believe
those
so.
park
Yeah,
lots of
I know
those-
they do the two up there, I'm not sure
They
about
use-
this
they
one.
use this one
Okay,
here, yeah.
Then yes.
All against?
Sorry.
Ayes have it.
And the other thing is, I have a paper here from the Lawrenceburg Lions Club, and I guess the city usually sponsors a hole, and it's for the golf scramble. It's on August 3rd, and for one hole, the sponsorship is $200, and for a half hole, it's $100. Actually, Linda's back here. She might know more about it than
Would you
I.
like to speak?
Did we do that last year? Come on up. I don't remember.
Actually, they've done it every year. They sponsor one hole, and it's $200. And then there's a sign put at the hole with the City of Lawrenceburg on it,
Okay.
and it's held at the Dearborn County Country Club.
Can you get me a copy of that paper so I can
Yeah.
put it with the claim?
Yeah, actually, I gave it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aaron, you need to give
Yeah,
it to me, please.
let me just write down our number, in case I ever need it in the future, then I'll pass it on
Okay.
down.
You might have some of these proceeds, they go towards the Little League baseball.
They go to the,
things
yeah,
like
it's,
that.
all of this is to sponsor the Little League program that Lawrenceburg has.
It's a good deal.
Okay.
I make a motion that we give the Lawrenceburg Lions Club for the golf outing their $200.
Your second?
Second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Mayor,
The Lions Club, too, wants, talked to the president. They want to thank City of Lawrenceburg for, people helped set up the fields. They said they did a nice job and everything worked out great.
Yeah.
They had a good turnout, too.
We had a really good one. Lawrenceburg actually just lost, but they will go on to play in, I think, Greensburg, and hopefully if they win that, they'll go on to play in Rush County. I do want to say that I did speak with the head of the umpire committee, and he told me that he's going to push for next year. This year, the big tournament is held at Rush County, and next year, he really loved our fields and everything, and he's going to see if we can't have it held down here.
The
So that-
final, the final game?
The
Okay.
final game. So that would be really nice for the Little League.
They told me he was very impressed with these fields.
Yeah, he was very happy. He was happy with everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have something. if
Go
I
ahead.
could. I was also approached by Main Street. They're having a golf outing to try to start raising funds so they don't have to rely so much on the city of Lawrenceburg. And,
But they want money from us.
Well,
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
a hole
Yeah.
for that.
How much is it?
They have anything from $100 a hole,
Okay.
and then they have some putting greens, long drive for 125, and then they have one first place team sponsor for 500, second place team sponsor for 300. So if the
What's the
board
board's
would like
pleasure?
to do something.
I'll go look through my money.
What do you recommend?
At the very least, a
Well-
whole sponsor, right?
Right. Maybe 2 holes, the same as for Little League, $200 total.
Put that in a motion?
I'll make a motion that we sponsor 2 holes for a total of $200 for
Okay.
the Main Street golf outing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
Mayor, I have one more comment. Talked to David Ashcraft, the Arch Street hot dog that they had on, I believe it was July 7th on a Saturday, was a success. They said that they had a lot of kids to turn out. They gave away a lot of hot dogs and put a lot of smiles on a lot of kids' faces. And they'd like to thank the city for the use of the park and the grills.
They do a good job. Okay, any more new business? Moving on to old business. Leslie Votal, professional feasibility study.
These are the professional feasibility studies that were asked for in an executive session. Can't really go into in public exactly what they were for. I think the board should be aware. I think this was tabled from the, it would have been the second meeting in, I'm not sure, whether it was the first or second meeting in June. These are professional feasibility studies to go on with any type of business park. So I need to bring that back in front of council to see how they voted on whether to proceed with those professional feasibility studies.
Anything on the board?
I'll make a motion to move on with the studies.
Here a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Okay, roll call, please.
Oh, just a second. Jane?
No.
Aaron?
No.
Bill?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
JR?
Yes.
The noes have it.
Ayes have it. Okay, Leslie, Economic Development Director, Marketing.
I did pass out resolution number 17, 2013 to you all. I did not get it in the packet because we had the executive session concerning Mr. Taylor on Thursday, so just didn't get a chance to get it to Connie in order to get in the packets to you. I did revise it to, I think, address most of your concerns from the last hearing. I did also speak with State Board of Accounts, left a message for Mr. Hedden with Umball, but he didn't get back to me. I guess he was out last week. But I did talk with Charlie Pride at the State Board of Accounts, and he has addressed the issue that you had as far as the hire date, and it was putting that it be subject to appropriation, which would be number 3 on that. This has been advertised. I don't know when the due date for all of the, do you know when the due date is for all of the
Applications.
applications?
I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
And I had that, but at any rate, it has been advertised in the paper, and I tried to fashion this after the actual description of the job and what was put in the paper and what was presented to the applicants, so.
In my opinion, it's not detailed enough. It's not telling what the salary will be. It's not telling if benefits will be received. And like you said, you just handed it to me tonight, so I didn't have a chance to thoroughly read it, and I would like to table it again. I make a motion to table resolution number 18.
I would just like to have 1 minute to read it real quick before I vote. 'Cause I just got it too.
Go ahead.
It doesn't change much. I added a paragraph.
You took out quite a bit, too.
No, just move things around, really. Didn't really take out anything, just move things around.
But this is the first time I've ever seen it. Last week, or the time before, you still didn't even give us a copy.
We had a copy the last time, Jane, because you made comments on what was wrong with it.
The original?
Yes.
The one we tabled, or the original?
When we tabled, yes.
My only issue with it still is that this isn't how it's in the budget. Remember that? It's in the budget as a marketing director, and this is economic development.
Well, it's marketing director / it. That's part of the duties.
But that's not how it's in the budget, that's what he's saying, right?
On the budget.
No,
okay,
it
we
says
flex the
marketing
budget.
director. in the
Yeah,
budget.
okay.
And there is 80,000 that is budgeted for this, and if we need to do an additional appropriation, that can be done upon, finding a possible candidate. But when I talked to Mr. Pride, he stated that, because it is budgeted for such a position, and as far as the 1 year, whenever it commences, we would have to put subject appropriation. They would have to realize it was subject to appropriation.
Would this person be in the union or not in the union?
Not in the union,
Yeah,
by an employment contract.
my only problem basically with the title, just the economic development, because it's in the budget as marketing director. Besides that, I'm good with the rest of it.
Well, the economic's just gonna be part of the duties.
Can you have a review longer than 1 year? Can you have like a 3 or 6 month review of the employee?
Well, I would say it will be if it starts now and it's budgeted only, basically till the end of the year. There wouldn't necessarily have to be another review when we review the budgets.
Board's pleasure.
There's a motion on the floor to table.
For a second? Guys would like a second.
Okay.
A resolution to employ an economic development marketing director, whereas the Lawrenceburg Common Council wishes to employ an economic development director to be responsible for promoting the business and economic development interests within the community, and whereas there is a need for a representative for the city to act in conjunction with the Hollywood Casino sales team to ensure city's interests are maintained, including marketing, branding, and public relations for the city of Lawrenceburg in regard to the Lawrenceburg Event Center and Hotel. And whereas the Common Council previously resolved to fill such position with a consultant or an independent contractor, not an employee, but now wishes to do so as an employee. And whereas the city budget provides for such a position. Now therefore it be resolved by the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, that Resolution 11, 2013, passed on February 19, 2013, is hereby repealed. That the City of Lawrenceburg will hire an employee for the Economic Development Marketing Director position by way of an employment contract. That said position will be a period for 1 year commencing upon the hire date, subject to appropriation. And that the mayor's office will review the effectiveness and suitability of said employee on a yearly basis and may extend said employment contract accordingly, subject to appropriation.
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Jane?
No.
Aaron?
No.
Bill?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
JR?
Yes.
Noes have it.
And just to let whoever wrote this know, if it got switched to marketing director, like it was in the budget, I'd be all for it, but I feel like it's gonna be a hard task to find an economic development / marketing director, because usually those are two different positions, and I don't think we'll get a good person.
I think there's 42 applications already in.
I don't know.
My only question is, how was it advertised before we even approved this? Why would you, I don't understand that either, but.
I didn't do
Approve
it.
We've been trying to approve it.
But that is a good question. Why was it advertised before we approved it?
It's in the budget.
As a marketing director, it's not economic, it's two different things. I mean, you can get someone that says they're that, it's gonna probably not be as good person that's focused on either economic development or marketing director. I'm all for the marketing director, but not the slashes.
Well,
that's two different positions.
well, yeah, I know, but the city needs one of those too. It'll be one person do the same job. Both marketing, economic development's basically same thing. You're marketing property and everything else, bringing business in, things like that.
'Cause, that's all why I'm for switching it to employee, 'cause I figure we get a better person, but.
So either one, just,
I'm gonna say which one, because we need to do something.
And
We've been hashing this.
Well, right now, I'm for the marketing director like that was in the budget. If economic development was taken out here and wherever else is down here at the bottom, I'd be all for it. I don't know who writes the resolutions, but.
I write the resolutions
Okay.
according to what was put in the paper and what was discussed, what the mayor wants, what he
Okay.
wants us as the, because it is an executive position. So,
I was getting my opinion just in case
Well, I
someone,
understand that, and I agree with you. But I think a person can do both of those. I've talked to several other people on this matter, and they think they can too.
I mean, I've,
See, it won't be, well, the marketing won't be exactly a full-time thing. It will be later on down the road, but not right now.
when I've looked on job sites where people are posting their resumes and stuff, and I've never seen this position, economic development / marketing. I've seen economic development and I've seen marketing separate, but I've never seen them together like that.
Okay. But either one,
I'd be good with marketing. That's what I mean, that's what was in the budget, and if we want to discuss the economic development separate, that'd be fine too.
but anybody with heart, we're gonna work as a team on different things.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna, there won't be all this doing the same thing, 'cause
Why don't you
we
just,
all work as like a group together is what we do.
why don't you just put marketing director and then, the job
Can we finally just put a marketing director?
Yeah, that's all my,
skills or your job title? I mean, you can
Okay.
add all the other stuff in it.
I will prepare that.
Okay.
I also gave you resolution 17. We did approve the interlocal at the last meeting. We did not bring the resolution back to the meeting. This is just the resolution basically affirming the, approval at the July 1st, 2013 meeting for the Dillsborough interlocal. Like I said, it was Jackie and I both didn't bring it back. It was tabled, and when I brought the interlocal to you.
Paperwork.
It is Resolution 17, 2013, a resolution regarding the entering into a revised interlocal agreement with the town of Dillsborough. Whereas the city of Lawrenceburg desires to invest a portion of the gaming revenue in surrounding Indiana counties in the form of economic development grants. And whereas the town of Dillsborough was granted some monies for the multiple machining project. And whereas the city of Lawrenceburg wishes to enter into a revised interlocal agreement with the town of Dillsborough for said project. Now therefore, it be resolved by the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Durham County, Indiana, that the City of Lawrenceburg enter into a revised interlocal agreement with the town of Dillsborough for the multiple machining project previously approved at the July 1st, 2013 meeting.
I make a motion that we pass resolution number 17, 2013.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
And then finally, it's not on your agenda, but there was some research that Mr. Lawrence requested on the tents on city property. And I think you brought it up during council, and that's why I'm bringing it up. I think it probably should go in parks, but,
Yeah, I think I forgot at the park.
yeah, just to bring you up to date, and, Parks doesn't meet today. The only ordinance pertaining to the tent issue is the building code. Those people should actually obtain an A&E permit, which is, what does that stand for? A&E? Assembly. Okay, A&E permit from the state building department for a public assembly. We do have an unwritten policy that if the applicant first obtains council approval and shows proof of insurance in a satisfactory form, we can allow.
That's Dillsborough, yeah.
So,
That's the one.
if anyone else comes up to you about anything like that, like at the,
No, that's the one regarding the
That's
town
the
of
only-
Dillsborough.
that's the only old business I had.
Thank you, Leslie.
Mayor, I have a couple things. if I
Go ahead.
could. At the last meeting, I'd ask if you'd invite either Tony or Dee or
Yeah,
both.
I told them we didn't have a parks meeting tonight, to come back
Okay.
next parks meeting.
Okay. And then a few meetings ago, we discussed and said you'd try to set up a meeting with the sewer plant, the South
Oh.
Dearborn.
South Dearborn Regional,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mel, you talk to them.
Pardon me?
South, go ahead, Mike, with him.
The sewer district, had
Yeah,
a meeting with
I think you
them.
had went out at that meeting, you wasn't in here when we discussed, which me and you talked out in the parking lot, but if we could get a meeting with the board from the South Dearborn sewer plant over here.
Board at a regular council meeting or work session?
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's on
matter
there.
to me.
Make it a work session.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, let me talk with them and I'll get back with you guys about a date.
Any more old business? Any comments from the audience?
I got one thing to bring up about the audience. I see some people are here. In the past 2 weeks, I have had 6 different houses, 6 different residents contact me about a woman and her dog that it wasn't kept on a leash, and I guess the police department has been there several times. Carl went there today, and animal control has been there several times, and they would just like to inform us what's going on around their neighborhood. So Miranda and Amy, if you guys all want to come up and.
Okay, thank you. I need that too.
My biggest concern, basically,
Excuse me, could I get your name?
Miranda Scarber.
What was last name?
Scarber, S-C-A-R-B-E-R.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I got it.
This dog is chasing me and my children anywhere. We can't leave our apartment. We have a multi-family house. We have a shared backyard. I've talked to the landlord. There's 3 different landlords that own our house. Neither one of them really think that it's a huge problem because they would have done something about it. Damien, let me see your arm. This right here is a result of her other dog biting my son. He got attacked April 15th, 2013.
Yeah, and that dog, it bit into the child's muscle and everything. That dog has been removed, but she still has another dog as well.
Yes, she is still in charge of the other dog that had been around that dog. And basically, animal control never did anything with the dog that had bit my son. They quarantined it for 10 days and gave it back to the owner. And I still have pictures from April, May, and June that they still have that black and white dog, and it was off a leash, roaming around, coming up my steps. I have pictures of it that I have showed my landlord saying, you know, she's not having it on a leash, it's not in a cage, it's not doing the restrictions that animal control had said to do. They are not following up, they are not checking on things. I said I'm really upset with Dearborn County's animal control right now.
Where is that at? Where do you live?
I live on Short Street.
The black and white dog has been removed from the home though, right?
They got rid of it, but see, just like they do all the time, they get rid of it for a week or 2 and then it's right back.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. I have talked to animal control, and I believe I've talked to Kelly. Is that one of your mothers?
My mother.
I've talked to Kelly, and I've been reassured by Lawrenceburg Police Department Officer,
Brian Miller.
Officer Miller, that if you get proof that that dog is running loose with pictures, and you call animal control, I know
Jane,
you're tired.
I know, I'm very sickened by this.
I am
but I
too.
have talked to Miller myself on their front porch 2 days ago after I had spoken with Aaron, and Aaron said that Officer Miller would be coming over sometime that day. Well, he did show up, and Officer Miller himself told me that there is nothing that the police department can do until they arrive and physically see that dog off of a leash. Doesn't matter if I have a camera videotaping it on my phone, taking as many pictures as I can within an hour on my phone or any other device.
That may be factual with Lawrenceburg PD, but it's not factual with the animal control, because she instructed me to tell her mother that if she had a photograph, because time animal control responds, they've got the dog back in the house. And I talked to Marlene, I believe that's her name, and she said the dog that they've got now, that German Shepherd's very frightening dog. It barks, you know, to look at it scares you.
I would attack you. I hit it with a hammer. I hit it with a hammer from the top of my balcony.
It's a terrifying dog. And she said that if you can get that photograph before they get it back into the house, then she will remove that dog from the home.
But Jane, we've called them, and they have been there 6 times, and I have had photographs, and they have still done nothing. I don't care if I have to call the county commissioner to get something done.
I mean, this dog needs to go. I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old little girl that were standing up the street from the dog. It pushes the window open, supposedly jumps out the window, and she comes out, calls it, doesn't come back to her. It chases my little girls and my mother across the street.
Onto other people's property.
Onto other people's property. My mom is coming towards me. My little girl's standing there in tears because this dog is coming at them.
We're talking about a 130-pound dog.
For a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or somebody like him, I
He's
have,
terrified of dogs
I
now.
mean, I've had to stop him from running in the road because of this dog.
Now, is this dog getting out of its yard?
It's getting out, she takes it off, she lets it run off the leash constantly.
She'll go up to Arch
Aaron
Street
has said
Park
something
and
to
let
her.
it off the
Yeah,
leash.
I mean, she goes.
The
to
dog
park.
actually is an in-house dog. It lives in the home.
And actually, these are only 2 of the residents that called me. I have 4 others that have called me in the past 2 weeks, and they don't even know each other, so I mean, it's an ongoing issue. It's defecating on neighbors' porches, on the sidewalks, scaring children.
Records,
It has no shots at all.
nothing, just like the dog that she had beforehand.
Has the police witnessed it out of its yard?
They're patrolling now.
Every
But
single
of course
time I've
she's not
called
gonna-
them, they take forever to get there, and by the time they get there, what do you know, the dog's back in the home.
Because, help me, but when the vicious dog ordinance.
That one's gone, though. The one that bit him's gone, it's a different
Yeah,
one.
but-
Yeah,
This
but I
dog
thought
was
that
a
there was something in the ordinance, if a dog continually gets out of its yard, is not maintained, could be classified
I
as
don't think
vicious.
so, is there,
Have
Carl?
the ordinance on that?
It falls under the nuisance at that point.
Carl,
We were made aware of this situation Saturday afternoon. We relayed to Aaron that Monday morning we would be on it. Monday morning, we started the procedures. I talked with the police chief. I have all the same things to take care of this dog under his authority. Now, I made probably 15, 20 trips myself today around with the purpose of the backyard, with my camera and everything, to get a picture. It doesn't matter if I see it, it's just like one of them seeing it.
Now, she does hang out in the front
Okay,
apartment
I mean,
a lot,
I'm just
too.
saying, I want you to know what was taken care of today on it. I went to animal control. I put an urgency on it today. I deal with them quite a bit over there. Whether they get there, they could be in St. Leon. You have to understand if they get a phone call. The dog was, not today that I found one time. If the dog's loose, this is my office. When I make a point now to leave to come your way, and when I meet, no matter where I'm going to circle. If I catch it off of the leash, it's the same thing as animal control or a police officer catching it off. And we'll take care of it even if she pulls it back in the house.
Yeah,
What
but
about,
today
what
she's
about
been
the
gone all day
pictures?
with it,
Like
so-
animal control said pictures were good enough for them.
Animal,
Is,
it's fine. That's what I'm trying to do.
yeah,
He's trying to get a picture, too.
okay, okay.
'Cause I will put a tape
I mean,
recorder in my
because, you know,
window
yeah,
if I have
mean,
to.
If it comes down to it.
We made 3 trips. I'm actually waiting on an answer back, and believe me, the landlord, he will answer. He won't answer his phone, but eventually I'll get in touch with him,
Now, which one did you call?
the property owners. Because if you've got a number that I don't
Roger
have,
Lehman is one to
I
definitely
will send
call.
a certified letter, because in the state of Indiana, it's his property and it's a nuisance through him. He's in control of it. It'll get handled. I just got the complaint today, and that's where we've went on it today. If it's loose, we'll find it.
Now, I have another question for the board. Now, is there any way to get a motion passed to where landlords would have to have the, like, possible renters provide shot records for any animal that they are bringing onto the property, along with, you know, having that first meeting with that, especially dogs, I don't know necessarily for cats, but dogs, to see the temperament of it before they let that enter their property,
That's a question
especially
for-
with multifamily homes.
That's a question for the attorney there.
Who owns, I mean, it's not owned publicly though, right?
Do what,
No,
hon?
it's public owned.
A guy named Roger, I don't know, what's his last name?
Roger Lehman,
Yeah.
and there's also a Kevin Cook, and I don't know
I
the
don't
third
think there's
guy's
much you
name.
can do with private owners. And now if it's a publicly owned by the state or you know
Well,
what I
it's
mean? Or
CCL
if they get HUD
Properties
assistance,
Incorporated, so.
If they get a HUD assistance or anything like that, there's those kind of regulations, but not on private.
I just don't understand why something can't be passed if you have a shared
something's
backyard.
Now, as far as an ordinance, I mean, I'm just saying that what's
Right.
there out there now. As far as an ordinance goes, I mean, this board could consider some type of ordinance like that. At one point, we looked at doing a rental ordinance. I don't know that that ever came to fruition, but
I haven't seen anything in the animal section at least.
not in the animal section, it was under housing.
Okay.
I mean,
I think you need to add some more to that ordinance when we could pass one, only just this. but
Because
some other
what we
things in
pass
too.
is what's required, you know. But, there's nothing to say that we can't make it more restrictive, you know.
Because as you guys know, I'm an expert in the animal section.
That's why I went to you.
So I hear, Aaron. And I will say that Officer Miller shot out an email to all of the police department that all individual police officers will be on the outlook for that dog.
I mean, we're just scared with it not having shots.
I
it's
would be
gonna bite
scared too.
somebody.
It's
I have a
chasing-
4-year-old, an 8-year-old,
yeah.
and a 3-year-old that if it comes down to it, I won't let them out front. I mean, that's
I
what
can't
she's
let
coming
my
down to.
kids outside to play
They
at
come
all.
over to my house to play in my backyard to keep this dog away from them. He has ran out in the road because this dog chases him. Somebody's gonna either get hit by a car, the dog's gonna attack him, or somebody's gonna get killed.
Now, to be honest, I did hit the dog with a hammer. I ain't scared to
I mean,
admit
you
it.
know,
I
we
was
got
trying to
told
kill it, but it
protect
didn't work.
ourselves. We can do anything. I mean,
I need a bigger hammer.
Yeah, I did have a BB gun, but
But we got told.
I was told that I shouldn't use it, but, you know, he said if it come down to defending my children, because I have 2 babies, which were just here, but, they're 16 months apart, I have my hands full with them. He said, you gotta do what you gotta do to defend yourself and your children.
yeah, I mean, that's what it's coming down to.
So-
I mean,
Carl,
carry the
stay on
hammer
it. Carl,
with
I
me.
believe me, Carl, he hits on these things, he stays
That's what I was
on it.
telling him this morning. that
He'll take care of the problem, he will. Little
I
kid will
appreciate
be able
your
to play
guys'
around his
time
yard without
for
getting bit.
listening to this. I mean, I'm
Thank you
very
for coming.
upset just because he's already gotten bitten once
I don't blame you.
by
Knock
the
out
same
every
girl
single
who owned the dogs. So, you know, I mean, I don't think she should be allowed to have another animal, especially another dog. She's
And I mean,
19,
she's
does
made
not take
comments.
care of it. She doesn't walk it. She doesn't get it shot. She doesn't take it to a veterinarian.
she lets an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old walk this dog weighing 130 pounds.
Not really walk it. It's on a leash on the
And
front
it
porch.
pulls 'em.
And it pulls them away.
We
Yeah.
were there with an officer again today. I mean, I want you to know how many things we went through today.
I do
She's
appreciate it.
she's
I
not
just
gonna
really
answer,
hope that we
you
can
know.
catch
I know,
this
but
dog.
trust
Okay.
me, it's not the first person that had an answer to the door for me.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you went to the
She's
back
seen an officer.
apartment.
Yeah,
She
he
hangs
did.
around in front.
No, she was at the back apartment. She wouldn't come to the door because I heard Dexter barking.
Give me a couple days on it.
Carl will take care of it. Thank
And
you.
then as soon as he left, she went around front. So, I mean, it was kind of obvious.
Okay, thank
But
you.
yeah, I do appreciate all your guys' time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
to the
coming.
problem.
Thank you, ladies.
Any more comments from the audience? And then review and discuss claims board approval.
So move.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay. Now.
Doing your overtime, man.
They can always see when I come home, because I live right down the street. I've been down there probably 5 times, 3 or 4 days. Yeah, since they ain't here on the
I talked to
weekend.
Officer Miller, and he said he shut out that email.
He was showing them yesterday, 'cause he had it printed out to show them.
Prior to that?
I mean, it goes crazy, you knock on the door, I mean, I don't know if it's mean or not, but when you knock on the door, it goes crazy at the door.
Y'all see you tomorrow.
The girl didn't answer when I knocked, but the dog was right at the window barking real mean.
Scary dog, she said.
I'll tell you what it looks like, you know.
Well, no, I got it.
Yeah. Not the old,
I got it
you
at
know,
11
one
o'clock.
that used to be outside, but now it's not. Not that old one.
I've done that a few times.
There's one that you used to have outside. It's only about 2 or 3 years old, but I used to keep it outside, and then now it keeps inside on the chain.
I got the one from Nina, but it was an hour after. 4 o'clock Friday.
The house is, let's say the house is like right here, like this, like this, all the way around. Yeah, all the way across.
There's 3 apartments and 1 dog.
Hater.
He loves dogs.
I love them. I just had a bass hound, but kids can take care of it. Gave it to my sister.
Afraid of her. Every big dog don't bite you.
I'm not scared of your dog.
In there, there's a link that refers to the analysis and mapping procedures for non-accredited levy systems. That is a 96-page document that I haven't finished yet. They selected him and selected Lawrenceburg. He won a qualified pilot projects for all of the non-accredited levies across the country. I have not yet figured out if that's good.
I gotta say, what's the pros and cons of that?
Well, when I finish this, I'll finish this before the teleconference goes, so I can ask my questions.